Good morning, everyone. If you're on the west coast of the United States, like we are here in San Francisco, California, today we're going to be having an AMA with Tammy Camp and Sean Bennett, our co founders, to speak on the upcoming governance vote and answer a lot of questions that we have been asked, not only here on X, but also within our Discord community. So, a quick plug, if you are not part of our thriving Discord community, definitely join. The link is accessible in our bio. And in there, you can find a lot of resources, community member, and different components of what makes our community so great. So, with that, I'd love to introduce our co-founders and just say hello. Hi, Sean. Hi, Tammy. How are you both doing?
Morning. Good, thanks. Good to be here.
Fantastic. And Tammy, how are you doing? Just note that you're on mute right now, which is fine. Let's go ahead and I'll give a bit of a
Hello.
download on. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Hello.
there we go. Perfect. How
Excellent.
are you? Good morning, everybody.
Let's just start with an easy one, given that we want to make sure everybody has context. Sean, Tammy, what is this governance vote for?
Great question to start things off. This vote 4 is to install our first official governance rules for SHX. So, setting forth how votes will be conducted from here forward. And so, should it pass, what this really allows people to do is it makes it more clear how votes can be run through and sourced from anywhere, not just directly from Stronghold as these first 4 have been. So thinking back to vote 2, the establishment of the forum, and we're closing the bounty on that at the end of the year, and we have some plans to make sure that something is ready there in the future. Um, we will be able to see, well, hopefully, we see in 2025 proposals by the community go up, and those elevated to official votes, and those voted on. And so this is the framework that allows us to do that clearly and transparently.
Fantastic. One note I'll have here, since our team is monitoring the hashtag SHX governance, I'm noticing that some community members are replying to this tweet. I appreciate that. That really helps engagement. But if you have a question that you want answered, please use that hashtag, since that's what our team is monitoring to source questions for this governance vote AMA. Okay, next question. Any plans to join more exchanges? And I'll also say this question has been asked in many different forms, some exchanges named by name. And so I know that this is a community question that does come up in multiple forms, but let's just start with the broad question of what our plans would be to join more exchanges.
That's a great question. Thanks, Veronica. Stronghold's mission is really to provide fast, secure, and accessible financial services for all. And our vision is to build a more inclusive, stable, and connected global economy. I think that, us being available on more venues globally is always a good thing for our community and the token of SHX. So I think that we're actively working on moving some of these initiatives forward. And so I'm really excited for 2025 because there's just been in the last 4 weeks there's been a lot of excitement around the industry in general. And I think that, you'll probably see a lot more uh, availability next year.
I think one thing to add to that as well is thank you, community members that are engaging on social media with exchanges. That is certainly, that effort is certainly noticed by exchanges. We hear that in their feedback to us. So thank you for your continued support on multiple platforms for that.
Fully agree with all of the above. Okay, next question. We've had a couple of questions about our circulating supply. And so I'm going to aim this at you, Sean, because I know we did some number pulling in the past week. Could you speak to our plans in the upcoming year around our circulating supply and specifically some of those plans that you and Tammy have talked about for escrow?
That's right. So yeah, we pulled a circulating supply, which is available to some of the data aggregator sites like CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, although they all have their own ways of measuring things, and the frequency to which that's updated, isn't really known to us. But Stronghold calculates our circulating supply at 14.8 billion SHX, so very roughly 15%. Something that we've definitely heard over the years is, what is Stronghold going to do with, its number of tokens, and that affects, potentially both whether we introduce that, into circulating supply, or how that feeds into the voting process. And with Stellar, getting smart contracts this year in the way of Soroban, we're finally able to do something to address some of those concerns. And I saw this as one of the sound bites from the Discord AMA that was I did see tweeted out, because I do think it is exciting. So I'm definitely agreeing with the excitement I'm seeing out there, and that is that we will go ahead in 2025 and escrow a large proportion of Stronghold's tokens. We plan to do this in a similar fashion to Ripple, where they have sort of the ladder built out of, regularly maturing sets of SHX that can then be, used if appropriate, when they mature, or relocked and put back into that time lock escrow. So we've been running some tests in the last few months. We're feeling good about those. So I expect that sort of Q1 next year, we will begin an escrow process. Uh, it'll take some time to sort of build out that ladder, and we'll slowly start increasing the durations that things are locked by, but you will see those starting to roll out soon. And because those are smart contracts, they'll be nice and transparent. People will be able to check that, yes, indeed, they are escrowed for that time period. So I think that's a really big step change for us here.
I'm super excited about it as well. Just echoing the function, Sean's, comment about the functionality. Stellar's done an amazing job this year with a lot of product releases, and then mainly Soroban. And so the functionality, they always had something called simple smart contracts that actually didn't allow us to have this type of functionality that we're talking about right now. And so we're just very excited that they've released it this year. We've been testing it. It's still early, but I think they have a great set of developers there. It's the way that the code is written is like super secure, and so we're gaining confidence in that. And so, like Sean said, that you'll be seeing more of that in the coming year.
Fantastic. I'm glad we got to speak to the smart contracts within this as well. Shifting gears a bit, again, another question that encompasses sentiments from various members of the community. How do we feel about the Trump administration and policies in the USA in 2025 for crypto?
I can take that right now. Thanks for asking that question. It's an interesting one. So I think it's really an exciting time for crypto. With the new administration coming in, it's definitely lifted the hopes, because it seems to be a crypto friendly government. And the reason we can say that is, the appointment or the nomination of Paul Atkins to lead the SEC. And he was actually a former regulator and crypto friendly, but he was a former regulator in the Bush administration. So, there's been a lot of excitement around that, and so much so that Bitcoin just surpassed 100K this week, and like this has been like 4 weeks since the election, and so since this 4 weeks, like it's that the price of that asset has like surged by 40% in 4 weeks. So we are seeing a lot of excitement around it, and we are looking forward to 2025.
Yeah, definitely a big 24 hours in crypto broader sphere for sure. Okay, a couple more questions inspired and sourced from our community. So one is combined from a couple of different folks from Sin, SHX Gray, Armstrong, Crypto Gem GR, and Seven Sins Island. It's about regulation, compliance, and political impact. Also, just given the topic we just covered, what steps is Stronghold taking to navigate regulation and position itself as a compliant yet innovative platform in the evolving blockchain industry?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. It's a great question. So thanks you guys for asking it. Since the inception of Stronghold in 2017, we've always taken or prioritized compliance and regulation at the company itself. And we've always taken a very conservative approach. And, we have a lot of policy and procedure. Quite frankly, most of my time, I think probably this last quarter has been around policy and procedure. So, I would say like 70% of my time is spent on that, making sure that the correct policies are written, that they're audited and that they're operationalized. So that's something that we were really passionate about, and we have a great team behind us that really believes that comes first. I think that we've seen this firsthand. We've been around since 2017, so like you can imagine how many times we've seen companies like FTX, like a lot of that, a catastrophe like that was it's first for some people, but we've seen that happen, dozens of times, like throughout our careers, with both Sean and I combined. And so, taking it slow when you're dealing with payment networks and money movement. It's just taking it slow, making sure that you're doing it right, making sure you're not using customer funds. That's a big no-no. We really are like hyper vigilant about that, and so um, you know we're still going to continue to navigate and position ourselves that way, and we still have a lot of work to do. I think again with this new administration that they're going to be a little more crypto friendly. So we're actually looking forward to seeing what comes next and in 2025 and beyond.
That's an awesome answer. All right, next one. This is a combination of questions from McClive, Miller, Azaziel, and Dine. So this is on market presence and exchange listings. What is Stronghold's strategy for indeed expanding SHX's presence on major exchanges? And for folks who weren't here at the beginning of this AMA, we did ask about if we'll be on other exchanges, but this one is much more focused on, do we have a particular strategy around that? And if there's something that the community should be aware of or know to do, potentially to assist in those efforts.
I think Sean mentioned earlier that we're really grateful that we have this community. This community has been very active and are very active with the exchanges that they, that we all want to be listed on. And my my hope is that that will continue to happen. We appreciate your support, and it definitely helps with conversations as we have them. Unfortunately, like, we can't disclose which ones there are, because again, we have policy, well, we have NDAs, and we have policies and procedures in place um, that kind of exclude us from talking about them publicly. But I do want to thank everybody for the excitement around it, and the support, and just know that we're prioritizing these things, and moving the ball forward.
Awesome. Yeah, I believe that that has a lot of requirement to be reemphasized, since this is a question that we receive in different forms. And so just know that this is something we are prioritizing, but to the extent in advance of when those partnerships happen, we do have NDAs in place and can't name the exchanges. Okay, shifting gears a little bit to speak more about product and tech development. This is a question that we get a lot. This iteration is specifically inspired by James, San Danilo Vegan, Mad Max, and Nightmare 885. So thank you for submitting this. How is Stronghold leveraging technology advancements, such as interoperability and AI, to enhance payment flows and improve the user experience?
One of Stronghold's key themes throughout the life of the company has been about interoperability. Um, right from Tammy and my roots being sort of started off at working with Ripple and working at Stellar. Um, sort of not picking one particular chain or protocol blockchain, and being able to move value for customers no matter where they need that move has been hugely important for us. I think that in terms of technology advancements that are of interest to us now, I think there's some the cross-chain protocols that have become particularly mature compared to in the last few years. During when the markets were a little down, everyone was out building quietly, but building some fantastic product. So I think it's time for us to take a refreshed view of blockchain-based cross protocol interoperability. And something I mentioned at the Discord AMA yesterday was, I would very much like to see a way for us to bridge the SHX issuance across Stellar and Ethereum in a low trust or trustless fashion, so that people can have more mobility across those two chains. It is very difficult today, unfortunately. So, that sort of goes towards user experience directly at the SHX holdership level. Um, the other one that we are talking about internally, and we're sort of finalizing our strategy for next year in terms of product development, is AI. And perhaps Tammy wants to talk to our internal use of it, but thinking about how it could be put into product is something we're currently working on. And I imagine we will put some details, should we choose to do it, into our roadmap, um, which some information will be going out in the next couple of months. I don't think we're quite ready yet to share what we are thinking about doing there, but it is, I think, going to be a major part of our strategy for next year.
Yeah, we are ideating and brainstorming on how to integrate AI. I mean, I love AI. Just to let everybody know, I'm a huge fan. We actually experiment with it a lot in the company. We've used it. We use it internally, operationally every day. So we use it in so many different ways, and we're super excited about it. Now, putting it into a product that is available for the market is definitely something that we're looking at, because we're so excited, and because we're experimenting and kind of getting real world like um, operational efficient um, feedback on it. It's been great. So I think that you will definitely see You will see AI-related and other related product features and enhancements or all new products coming out from us in the coming years.
Can confirm, extremely exciting work. Okay, moving to a couple of last questions. So as a reminder, if you have questions, and we don't have too much time left in this AMA, but if you have additional questions, make sure that you tweet or post on X hashtag SHX governance. The hashtag is in the title of this AMA. So use that hashtag because that's where we have been sourcing questions. And you have to make sure you use that. I know folks are replying to this AMA post, which is great. We love the engagement. We love that y'all are reposting this AMA and definitely encourage you to do so now as well as when we wrap up, since this will be out there. But please use that hashtag to ask additional questions. Okay, we've got SHX Guru, Limpy37. How does / will Stellar's very recent protocol version 22 upgrade impact SHX and or StrongholdNet moving forward?
This is an interesting, very technical question. Um, protocol version 22, I believe, is being voted on today, or maybe it has just gone through. But it does introduce a couple things that are of interest to us. The first essentially makes it easier for us to stand up Soroban smart contracts. So instead of having to deploy the contract and then do a separate sort of setup or initialization step, we can do the initialization when we deploy the contract. So it just makes things a little bit cleaner. It was Soroban did have this development pathway that was slightly strange compared to the other major platforms, more Ethereum-like ones. So that's a nice to have, but doesn't really impact us too much other than making development a little easier or deployment. But the other big piece that you're probably referring to is the encryption changes or the extra capability for encryption, especially around the zero knowledge proof piece of the ZK snarks. Due to the type of business that we do, I couldn't see us, at least in the short term, utilizing ZK snarks. And that is just because one of the big benefits we get for our customers out of using the blockchain is being able to see where those funds flow through the different wallets. And so anytime we start obfuscating any of that information, that might not be good for us or for policies, especially in relation to anti-money laundering, CFT activity. So I don't think we'll see it used there. But one place I could see it used is related to the governance, right? Thinking about how governance evolves in the next few years, perhaps it could be used there. I could imagine a world where voting is done anonymously. Um, and protocol 22 has cryptography in it that would allow us to implement that in a smart contract. So that's where it could be useful.
We love the deep technical questions, so thank you for that one. Okay, next audience question from BBHK. Hi, guys. Hello. Can we tell us how ISO 20022 will impact the future, like partnerships and revenue growth?
I'll take this one. Let me start off. So ISO 20022 compatibility and capabilities that we have really just allow us to interact with potential partners and customers that also use the standard or are looking to onboard with the standard, right? And there's a big drive for financial institutions, companies themselves to be adopting the standard so they can get better data internally, track payments better, better accounting, all that good stuff. So a lot of vendor selection is based around who else is able to support that standard, and so making sure that we're at the forefront of that is super important. I think we first started sending ISO 20022 messages back in 2019, and it we continue to keep that at the front of our minds going forwards. But it really allows us to do to have broader reach.
Yeah, we're excited about having the Federal Reserve is actually um, mandating that the adoption of ISO 2022 in, I believe, March, right, Sean, March of next year. So, we expect there to be a lot of movement there. I'm just super excited about the product generally. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a little nerdy about accounting software. I love them. I play around with them all the time, and I think it'll be really great. It's ISO 2022 at a high level is a standardization of messages that you get within a transaction, and so like how it would be useful in accounting softwares for like reconciliation, and matching up the transaction and standardizing those messages that come from like point A to point B. And so, I think once we see the adoption in some fintechs like in accounting software, I'm just super excited about that. I think you'll see it a lot, and it'll be super beneficial, and really, make finance departments, and even banks, right? Banks, finance departments, like everything that kind of has value movement and has to have like a record of it. With that standardization coming out, it will just be so much easier.
I will say it's a very, very good thing that our CEO is geeking out about accounting software. That is a very positive thing for all the things that we do. All right, next question is from Christopher Sledge. Any plans for DeFi lockups for SHX?
So one of the early questions about circulating supply, we talked a bit about escrow and time locks, and so that's exactly what we're talking about here. The escrow or time lock that we're looking for deploying onto Stellar Sorbonne is exactly a sort of a DeFi lockup smart contract for SHX. So yes, Q1 2025, you'll see us start to roll those out.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're just about at time now. So I'm going to pose another question that we've received from basically everybody in the community. But for both of you, Sean and Tammy, to wrap us up, take us home, what are Stronghold's primary goals and what are you most excited about for StrongholdNet SHX in 2025?
Well,
Okay.
no, you go first, Sean, or I can. Doesn't matter.
I didn't finish yesterday. No, I'll
Ah,
go.
okay.
Mine is pretty nerdy and I think not that hard to guess, and that is Soroban smart contracts. For years when we've had to look at smart contracts, it's been on other protocols, mainly Ethereum, and that has been far from our core user base. Also, the main issuance of SHX being on Stellar. So, finally having the ability to write smart contracts directly on Stellar is a huge game changer for us in terms of thinking about what we can do in product in 2025. So I'm super excited about that. Another big win for me personally and for the development team is we can use Rust. We love that programming language here. And so being able to use that in the smart contract writing process is so nice. So yeah, that's what I'm excited.
Great. 2025. Well, a very basic win for 2025 is I'm excited to release our updated StrongholdNet overview, formerly known as the SHX white paper. But we are going to be updating that because we've hit all of our marks on the roadmap, and so we need to put those little green check marks on it, and kind of disclose to you where the next what the next initiatives are are going to be. And so we're flushing those out right now, but I can tell you that, aside from the time bound escrow that we're doing on Stellar, I'm super excited about that and the sort of on contracts. But I'm also excited about, you know, everybody's excited about crypto right now. And so I think that the people who have been around and have been building for the last couple of years, they've been, building quietly. And I think it's really important for us because we, are at our core, we do want to be interoperable. And I'm super excited to go explore other networks. And look at the functionality that they have and see if we can, if there's any synergies there. So I think you'll be seeing more research from us on that side. And then, finally, I think that we're, like I said at the beginning of the AMA, that we've been ideating and brainstorming about products. And so I'm actually excited about some of these products, and you will see us test them in the market. So we will be testing new products in the market to see if we get, market traction in them, and then that will determine what product we will focus on for 2025. So stay tuned for those, for those marketing engagements, really. So thank you so much, Veronica, for moderating us.
Of course. Thank you, everybody, for attending. This recording will hopefully be live right after this in case folks need to go back and scrub and listen in. Remember to vote. All folks who are in the community have the ability to vote as holders. Instructions are available on our X account, but also on various, make sure you're following us because we will continue to surface those instructions in the coming days and weeks. So with that, we'll wrap it up. Thank you again for attending and stay tuned, stay involved. Oh, one more thing. There are a number of questions that we did not get to. We did try to do our best to include a variety of questions and also provide answers to the questions that were most pressing and the topics that had a lot of interest. So if you have more questions, please join our Discord community if you haven't already. The community is very, very active, very eager, and we really thank all of you for resurfacing a lot of these answers to questions. So you'll probably be able to get your questions answered there. And if not, just know that we will be holding more AMAs in the future, more spaces like this. And as you've heard today, there's a lot of exciting things coming to SHX and StrongholdNet in the coming weeks, months, and this upcoming 2025. So thank you all for attending. We'll see you out.